Pakistan secures $7 billion in a new bailout package from the IMF. Details of the evening news right after this.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speedy delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speedy delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, has issued a new call for the international community to assist small island developing states in their fight against climate change. Her call came at the 79th UN General Assembly in New York this afternoon.
These tragic occurrences embolden us to state firmly that the time for rhetoric has long passed. Business as usual simply will not suffice. We need urgent, bold, and decisive action to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius as science clearly dictates. But to do this, we must drastically reduce emissions, boldly honor financial commitments, and build critical resilience infrastructure in regions particularly vulnerable in relation to climate change. This is a moral imperative, a matter of the utmost urgency, a matter of climate justice. Our future depends on the decisions made in these halls.
And that's the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton. The Dominica President told the UN General Assembly that the international community has made pledges for climate change action, but the resources have not materialized.
Dominica, along with other Caribbean states, have already prioritized the development of national climate adaptation strategies, invested in resilient infrastructure and agriculture, invested in community education and in renewable energy. Still, the reality is that, as important as our interventions in this crucial space are, they will remain ineffective if our friends and partners in the industrialized world do not honor their commitments to reduce global warming and provide the funding that is required to enable our low-emitting states to become resilient. We therefore seize this opportunity to urge that the ethical pledges made via the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement, the Climate Action Summit, and within the framework of the Green Climate Fund be honored in the interest of the global community. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit has been sounding that call at every opportunity he gets. We are sounding that call again at this assembly. The high-emitting countries need to recognize and accept responsibility for their destructive practices and do the noble thing. We will not relent until they do.
President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, she called for an end to action against Venezuela and Cuba.
We continue to urge that the long-running economic embargo against the people of Cuba be set aside. It hurts the people of Cuba as well as the image of its sponsors. The trade embargo imposed against our brothers and sisters in Cuba continues to be of great concern to us in the Caribbean. Its lifting grows increasingly urgent. Therefore, the Commonwealth of Dominica once again joins the voices of the overwhelming majority of members of this global organization to call for the immediate lifting of trade restrictions and export bans imposed on the good people of Cuba. They are unjustified. They are unjustifiable. They are antiquated. They belong to a bygone era. They should cease to exist. They fall, in our view, within the grand narrative of yet another Caribbean people's struggle for liberation. It is for these reasons that the government of Dominica strongly urges a radical reconsideration of these actions. Our steadfast advocacy for respect for the United Nations norms of sovereignty and non-interference impels us as well to urge that the right of the government and people of Venezuela to resolve internal challenges without outside interference be respected. We renew our condemnation of the United States' imposition of sanctions on Venezuela. The resulting hardship forced upon the people of Venezuela needs an immediate and complete end.
And that's the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Silvani Burton. Other news this evening, Deputy Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Dr. Valda Henry, has called for more representation for the credit union movement on the regulatory boards of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Dr. Henry was the keynote speaker at the 17th OECS Credit Union Summit, which opened in Dominica this morning under the theme, Empowered to Thrive in an Evolving Landscape.
The ECCB has long recognized the importance of the credit union movement. And even while the ECCB is not the regulator of the credit union movement, now in most of our countries that has been assigned to the Financial Services Unit or Department, the ECCB works and has worked and continues to work very closely with the regional and national regulators. In fact, the ECCB established the Regulatory Oversight Committee, and that committee is comprised of all the national regulators within the financial space, and it's chaired by the ECCB. We meet at least twice a year. There is consideration, and I think it's more than consideration, for membership of the credit unions on the ECACH, the Caribbean Automatic Clearing House, which will make it even easier for you to continue to serve with excellence your members. The integration of the credit unions for greater effectiveness, single technological platforms, enabling legislation, and I know there was a move for the harmonization of the legislation for the sector. However, some countries had gone ahead, and I'm not too sure where that is at the moment, but there is this need for the consolidation. And there will soon to be established the Eastern Caribbean Financial Standards Board. In fact, because one of the things you will realize is that as the sector expands and grows, as the sector becomes more dominant, and it is getting more dominant, and that's not a bad thing at all, the regulation of the sector becomes more critical.
And that's the Deputy Governor and keynote speaker at this morning's ceremony, Dr. Valda Henry. Meantime, Minister for Finance and Economic Development, Dr. Irving McIntyre, says the credit union movement in Dominica is now better positioned to deal with the current economic challenges.
In Dominica, the credit union movement has long been a cornerstone of community development and economic empowerment. What started as 16 individual credit unions has strategically evolved into a more robust network of 6, achieved through mergers and amalgamations. This consolidation was not simply about reducing numbers. It was a forward-thinking strategy designed to strengthen the sector, increase its resilience, and better serve its members. By uniting resources, expertise, and membership, under fewer but stronger institutions, Dominica's credit unions are now better positioned to provide innovative financial solutions expand their outreach, and withstand economic shocks. This evolution reflects a commitment to ensuring that despite challenges, the credit union movement remains a pillar of support, fostering inclusive growth across the nation. Credit unions have grown to hold significant assets, positioning them as systemically important financial institutions. Their potential failure or distress will not only affect their members, but could send ripples effects throughout the economy, impacting individuals, businesses, and communities alike.
And that's the Minister for Finance, Dr. Irving McIntyre. The prosecution called its 10th witness this morning in the trial of Geno Joseph for causing death by dangerous driving. Joseph is on trial for the death of police constable Philsbert Felix Williams on the E.O. Libla Highway near the DBMC building on December 26, 2020. The accused was in control of a red Suzuki car with two other passengers while the deceased was riding a bike when they collided. The police constable was pronounced dead on arrival at the then Princess Margaret Hospital. Among the prosecution witnesses who gave evidence this morning was the accused spouse, who said she was in the car during the fatal accident. She said the accused had no alcoholic beverages on the day he was normal. Fire officer Erwin Mitchell said he arrived on the scene of the accident early and checked the deceased for any sign.
When there's no grass, we rake leaves under the trees. I'm very contented with my work. That we're supposed to be Rengo seen that after Maria, they had a lot of work to be done. Like Hurricane Maria devastated botanical gardens, and people meet me and tell me there's no more botanical garden. I tell them, don't worry, there's botanical garden will come back on its feet. We had to move trees, galvanize, posts, whatever particles that was in the way.
What would you like to say to the people who come here on a daily basis? What would you like to say to them?
I would like to say there are many signboards there, and they still parking transport on the lawn, and they throw a lot of garbages, and they say if they throw garbage, we haven't got work to do in gardens, the botanical garden. All I would like to say that only when the sun is hot, people pass around and they say that the grass is brown and Dominica's a nature I'll keep it green, but it's not us. It's not us. I say gardens is a place to relax and with your family. We keep wedding ceremonies, parties, picnics, and so on.
I'm Raquel Bellot. Well, garden is a lovely place. It just needs a little enhancement. But as you see, it is coming. It is coming because as you see, because we are painting the curbs, making it look a little more visible. You understand? But there is a lovely place, both for the residents and visitors. You understand? It will have a little activity with children. It will have, just mention, a lot of things happening in the botanical garden. So it's a lovely place to work. As workers, I am very proud and I'm happy I'm working there. Because, I mean, if we don't do it, who will do it? It's us that have to keep it. And it makes us feel proud to see when we clean, the children come and play sports, people come and interact. So it makes us feel happy. I've been there for 9 years. September will give me 10 years.
Well, that's a supervisor of laborers at Botanic Gardens, Raquel Bellot. And before her, long-serving laborer, Anne-Marie Liverpool. The news continues right after this.
What's on your back-to-school checklist? Fast, reliable internet, a free Chromebook, a smartphone. With Flow, you can check everything off your list. Sign up for broadband and get 25% off Turbo plus 6 months or free Chromebook while stocks last. And if you need a new phone, our postpaid bundles offer smartphones for just $4. Make back to school easy with Flow. Visit discoverflow.co for details.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speed the delivery, just check NBD. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speed the delivery.
More money NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBD.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
DBS News.
A newly established union in Antigua is setting its sights on advocating for a 4-day work week. People's Trade Union President Ralph Porter believes the change would enable employees to better manage personal responsibilities without requiring additional time off, thereby fostering a healthier work-life balance. Porter argues that a reduced work week would not only enhance work-life balance, but also contribute to the overall well-being of citizens. Antigua's Labor Commissioner has responded willingly to the announcement. Finally, this evening, the International Monetary Funds Board, IMF, has approved a $7 billion extended fund facility for Pakistan, providing a critical boost to the country's struggling economy. The development was announced by the Prime Minister's office, while a statement is expected from the IMF. The Prime Minister's office said the Premier expressed his satisfaction with the program's approval. Pakistan will immediately receive a tranche of $1.1 billion from the international lender, which had provided it before with $3 billion bailout in the last package. It is 19 minutes now after 6 o'clock. That's news. Gavin Richards is standing by with the sports report.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's begin with news that the Vice President of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, Yannick Regis, has encouraged athletes to never give up. On his comments at the 2024 School Sports Awards today, Regis was the featured speaker at this morning's award ceremony. Over 218 awards were handed out to deserving student athletes and schools at the event, which was held at the American Canadian School of Medicine in Portsmouth, under the theme Empowering the Future, Celebrating Excellence and Leadership.
As we look to the future, let us continue to empower and uplift one another. Let us celebrate not only the victories, but also the journey, the effort, and the resilience that it defines true champions. Together, we can build a brighter, stronger, and more vibrant future for our athletes and our nation. To our young athletes, I say this: dream big, work hard, and never give up. The journey to excellence is not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Surround yourself with positive influences, seek guidance from mentors, and also believe in yourself. Remember that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow, that every triumph is a testament to your dedication and perseverance. To our esteemed coaches, trainers, and supporters, I extend my heartfelt gratitude. Your unwavering support and guidance are the pillars upon which our athletes build their success. Your commitment to nurturing talent and fostering a spirit of excellence is invaluable, and we are immensely grateful for your contributions.
And that's the Vice President and featured speaker at today's Sports Awards, Yannick Regis. Meantime, Sports Coordinator Trevor Schillingford says the 2023-2024 school sporting year was a major success.
Handing over 218 awards is also significant in that it is a reflection of the volume of activities which were held during the year. For us at the Sports Division, We are pleased with the level of implementation during the school year 2023-2024. All our planned activities for the last school year, but 2, were successfully implemented. Anyone who is involved in the execution of such activities would attest to the volume of work that is involved in planning one of these competitions. And for us to have planned 30 such competitions during the academic year speaks volume of the work we continue to do on behalf of our youth. And this is only a fraction of what we do. I must at this time recognize the staff at the sports division for the work that they continue to do.
Sports coordinator Trevor Schillenford, Portsmouth Secondary School student Lamaya Ford is among the top athletes. She copped the MVP in girls basketball and was also the leading scorer. She was the leading goal scorer in the girls football program as well. Academic student Jamal Peltier was named the MVP in boys basketball and volleyball. A national footballer and Dominica Grammar School student Malachi Bonney was named the football MVP, and he also won the Golden Boot. A national netballer and Convent High School student Kenya John was named the most outstanding shooter in netball, while Tikea Robin of the State College was named the MVP. And in cricket, the Dominica State College student Kyron Phillip and Jason Vidal took the most wickets with 23. Northeast Comprehensive student Darren Tousse had the most runs with 480. He also got 3 centuries, and Kyron Phillip was named the best all-rounder. Well, over 200 awards were handed out, and we do congratulate all of the winners. Meantime, Minister of State with responsibility for sports, Senator Oscar George, says that government will be investing heavily in the grassroots development programs.
Through the sports division, we will continue to collaborate with schools, communities, and local sports associations to invest in infrastructure and resources needed to nurture talent, from upgrading sports fields and courts to offering professional coaching and mentorship programs. We are dedicated to helping you thrive and realize your true potential. We believe that the only way to develop and sustain world-class athletes is by investing in grassroots programs that can identify early talent and provide the right system to nurture that talent. I am sure if we can implement that approach and that vision in the next 5 years, I am sure that we will see many more players and many more athletes coming out from Dominica.
And that's Minister of State with responsibility for sports, Senator Oscar George. He also says that the lighting upgrades projects for a number of community playing fields are at an advanced stage.
We are committed to ensuring that every student, regardless of the location, have access to quality facilities. As we speak, government is undertaking improvements and lighting upgrades at several community playing fields, designed to encourage youth participation and, of course, to ensure that the entire community have a safe place to practice and to nurture their talents. This program to upgrade as many playing fields as possible will continue in the long term. So far, we have made upgrades to the Maho playing field, the Anzimi playing field, the Vekas playing field, the Grand Fond playing field. Works are almost complete at Center Grand Bay, the Soufriere playing field, and of course, as indicated by the PAREP, the Granville playing field. And we are finalizing plans to upgrade the Cassibros playing field, the Delis playing field, the Trafalgar playing field, and of course, Point Michel playing field.
Minister of State with responsibility for sports, Senator Oscar George. In some more sports this evening, well, the struggles for the national netball team continued today as the NHIL girls suffered their 3rd defeat in the tournament, going down to Grenada. Well, that's in the ECCB Invitational Series underway in St. Lucia, where Dominica again got off to a slow start and were forced to play catch-up. They were down 19-5 at the end of the first quarter. They struggled again in the second quarter and managed just 9 goals and were trailing 30-14 at the halftime break. Dominica managed to outscore Grenada 10-9 in the third quarter, but they were still trailing 39-24 heading into the final period of play. Dominica struggled to score in the fourth quarter and they managed just 6 goals before losing the match 55-30. Well, the team vice captain Anna Marie Panthe says it was another disappointing effort.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed. I expected us to have a better showing, but we had some moments when we did what we were supposed to do, but I think there's too much inconsistency.
What do you think right now needs to change, seeing that we're in day 4?
I think the ladies need to be more committed to the play, to really focus on what we're supposed to do, and to just keep at it.
And that's the team vice-captain Anna Maria Panthe. Well, Dominica plays next match tomorrow against St. Lucia. That game will get underway at 8 o'clock in the evening. Let's bring in some cricket news now, as the Trinbago Knight Riders captain Karen Pollard believes that Dwayne Bravo's contributions to the game of cricket is priceless. Well, Bravo, who is playing in his last CPL, hobbled off the field yesterday with an injury, and it is unclear whether Bravo will be fit to feature in the remainder of the tournament. The Knight Riders captain says while it was disappointing that an injured Bravo walking off the field could be the last image fans will have of Bravo, the former West Indies all-rounder has contributed a lot to the game.
Obviously, we're not sure. He pulled up. It looked pretty serious. Obviously, him coming out to bat is not supposed to win the game, but just to know the extent of it, we're not sure if there's going to be end, for him. But overall, from a team perspective, we just want to tell him thank you very much for all that he has done, for cricket, for Trinidad and Tobago, for the wider world. He has been a charismatic person, throughout. He has been inspiring to all of us, and we just want to tell him, thank you. He's not in a good space right now, but, obviously he has given everything that he has to cricket, and cricket has rewarded him, as well.
And that's the Trinbago Knight Riders captain Karen Pollard. Meantime, West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell says Bravo was instrumental in helping him into becoming the player that he is today.
I think me being who I am today, I think Bravo have a lot to do with it. I used to wicket keep, and then I start bowling and batting at 10, 11, number 9. And then, watching him playing Test cricket for West Indies, bowling, good pace, fielding, diving, all those things. And then when he comes to bat, he gets the job done. And he have helped me a lot with my cricket, how to outthink the batter, and to be a smarter bowler. You're not going to get it right all the time, but I think once you have the right mindset to get that execution, I think you're on the right way. And we're going to miss him, but he's definitely one that we all listen to, we all look up to.
And that's the West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell. Well, speaking of the CPL, that tournament continues tonight. There's a big game on with the defending champions, the Guyana Amazon Warriors, taking on the Barbados Royals. That game will get underway at 7 o'clock this evening. And the West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell says he wants to continue to play international cricket until 2026. Well, the announcement marked a turnaround from Russell's earlier stance this year when he had hinted at retirement following the recently concluded ICC T20 World Cup. Well, the Andre Russell, who's 36 years of age, is one of the most feared all-rounders in world cricket. He's played over 500 T20 matches across the globe. Russell says that he made the decision after a discussion with the head coach, Darren Sammy. Meantime, he says that he is not impressed with the quality of the all-rounders in the Caribbean. He says the inconsistency of the players has made it difficult for him to walk away from the game.
If there was a lot of talent that's been doing what I'm doing, I could have walked away from the game international-wise. But I just want to see the youngsters do well in terms of all-rounders. Still can hit the ball anywhere I want to hit the ball. Still bowling good pace, still fit, can move around. I don't see why I should stop. And youngsters not really pulling their weights. We have Sheppy, Kima Paul, we can keep naming some good all-rounders that's there, but until they start doing what I'm doing, and I'm seeing that consistency behind it, then I'll take a step back there.
And that's the West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell. Some very controversial statements there from Russell. Maybe we'll discuss it tonight on the Off the Field program with Delvin Esprit. Remember, that comes up at 7 o'clock this evening. We'll also be discussing some cricket as well, as we have another big cricket tournament coming our way in December. Well, that's the news. Of course, you heard the news being presented by Curtis Matthew on behalf of the entire news and sports departments. Our links person, DJ Haloboy. I'm Gavin Richard saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening, welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We begin with the evening edition of the DBS Radio Death Announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. It is the 25th day of September 2024. We announce the death of Juliet Graham, age 56, of Tranto. She died on Friday, 30th August at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. She was the mother of Deanne, Shanika, and Deanna Daniel and Shuma Williams. She'll also be remembered by her stepfather, Quesito George, better known as Big Joe, her grandchildren, Nalia Bellot and Sebastian Williams, her sisters, Priscilla Massicott and Virginia Moise, her brothers, Levi Harper, John Baptist Scotland, and Curtis Daniel, sons-in-law, Stephen Williams and Daryl Lohman, sister-in-law, Sharon Harper, nieces, Angela Weeks, Clotilda and Kimanda Daniel, nephews, Gillian Harper, Anthony Fraser and Sidney Thompson, cousins, Valerie Loda, Yvette Edwin, Roslyn, Raphael, John and Janet Mingo, Algie Eustace, Eric, Romaine and Dorian Graham, Brendan Drygo and Clarence Scotland, close friends, Roshon Flora, Pastor Vaughn Vigilant, Kian and Nell Labassiere, Merlin and Valmont, that should be Merlin Valmont, Kelisha George, Ostel Lockhart, Johnson Drygo, Nurse Vigilant, and Julian Ferguson. The Graham and Eustace families and many friends here and abroad, names too numerous to mention. The body of the late Juliet Graham of Tranto can be viewed from 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 28th of September, at the Castlebruce Pilgrim Holiness Church. The funeral service will take place at 3 p.m. and will be followed by interment at the Castlebruce Public Cemetery. We announce the death of Matthias Samuel, better known as Starlin, age 79, of Riviere Cyric and Laplain, who resided in the United States. He was the husband of Bertha Samuel. He was the father of 3 sons, Renee, Steve, and Colin Samuel, and 6 daughters, Audrey, Stella, Daryl, Anne, Sophia, and Alinda Samuel, and honorary daughters, Deborah Cuffey and Patricia Lasher. He will also be remembered by his grandchildren, Ebony, Shael, Tarika, Brianna, Shaid, Shadil, Caitlin, Rain, Aiden, Samuel, and Liam. His great-grandchildren, Jamir and Kobe. Sons-in-law, Earl Marcel, Sandy Etienne, and William Ado. Daughters-in-law, Rosalind Samuel and Jenny Durand. Brothers, Augustus, John, and Francis Samuel. Sisters, Philippa and Judith Samuel. Nieces, Mervinia, Sabrina, Nathalie, Elisa, and Janella. Nephews, Imran, Johannes, Nathan, Curtis, Cedric, Matthew, and Marcus. Brothers-in-law Sylvester, Jerry, Dennis, Ivan, Michael, Davidson, and Augustus. Sisters-in-law Magdalene, Amy, Angela, Jeanette, Alice, Agnes, Lucy, Phillips, Lawanda, Barbara, and Marvo. Cousins Baron Coffey and family, Jules Samuel, Margaret Francis, the George, Samuel, and Pascal families. Close friends and relatives Pearl Blaze, Susan Stedman, Edlin Sorrento, Pamela Bunch, Neville Roberts, Cassie Lestrade and family, Mark DeCosta, Joseph Fontaine, the Bato and Dumas families in Laplane, and many other relatives and friends, names too numerous to mention. The body of the late Matthias Samuel, better known as Stalin, can be viewed from 10 a.m. on Friday, the 27th of September, at the Brooks Memorial Home in Yonkers, New York. The funeral service will take place at 11 a.m. and will be followed by interment at the White Plains Rural Cemetery. We announce the death of Devonport Robert Hamilton of Vieques, who resided at Simon Boulevard Stock Farm. He died on Sunday, the 15th of September, at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. He was the husband of Margaret. He was the father of Chevonton Hamilton, Carlita Hamilton, president of the Dominica Netball Association and assistant treasurer of the Dominica Olympic Committee, Abigail Hamilton, teacher at the Dominica Grammar School, and Kimora Hamilton, teacher at the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. He will also be remembered by his 3 grandchildren, Stallone, Kalis, and Miracle. His brothers, including Hayes Hamilton, Thomas, Billy, and Gregory Augustine. His sisters, including Silma Hamilton, Kiclard, and Lena Augustine in France, and also Angela Augustine Pollock. Sisters-in-law Celestine in Dominica, Virginia, and Helena Hilaire in Canada, also Irene and Beverly. His brothers-in-law Patrice Kiclard in France and Graham Pollock. His aunt Octavia. 2 uncles, Berlin in England and Augustus Boy Massicotte in Point Michel. Several nieces and nephews, including Taj, Tahir, Emmanuel, Rochelle, David, Dylan, Delicia, Malia, and Greg. Other friends and other relatives, names too numerous to mention. The funeral service for the late Devonport Robert Hamilton of Vieques, who resided at Simon Boulevard Stock Farm, will take place at 2 p.m. at the New Day Fellowship and Deliverance Ministries in Portersville on Thursday, the 26th of September, and will be followed by interment at the Roseau Public Cemetery. We announce the death of Alrive Smith, better known as Orlo, age 64, of Salisbury, who resided in Houston, Texas. She died on Friday, the 6th of September, in Houston. She was the mother of Nelson John Baptist in Houston. She will also be remembered by her sisters, Lucy, Magdalene, and Agnes. Her brothers, Hesford, Joe, Simbert, and Norman. Her grandchildren, Nelson John Baptist Jr. and Klein John Baptist. Her nieces, Laurette, Annette, Lucia, Carell, Heslin, Jody, Jemima, Audrey, Ashley, and Kimisha. Her nephews, Norbert, Philsbert, Joey, Limbert, Herman, Jonathan, Aswad, Jamal, Danik, Gillan, Ari, and Jarek. Her daughter-in-law, Kernita John Baptist. Sisters-in-law, Anne, Francisca, Linda, and Judy Smith. Brother-in-law, Eric Sarah. Aunt, Teresa Shillingford. Godchildren, Grell and Jasmine. Close cousins, Eutlin, Ruthin, Maylin, Tilda, Walter, and Jesslyn Vidal. Also June, Avis, and Landra Smith. Also Rose Shillingford, Charnine Johnson, and Pamela John. The Smith, Vidal, John, and John Baptist families of Salisbury and St. Joseph, and other relatives and friends, names too numerous to mention. The funeral service for the late Alrive Smith, better known as Orlo of Salisbury, who resided in Houston, will take place on Friday, 27th September, at the Melcalf Funeral Home in Houston, Texas. We announce the death of Francisca Philomene de Ravarier, age 84, of Grand Coulibaly, Grand Bay. She died on Monday, the 9th of September. She was the wife of Jerome de Ravarier. She was the mother of Shirley Alexander, Mary Ann Cuffey, Christine Tavernier, Rosalind Xavier, and Judith Primer. She will also be remembered by her two brothers, Arthur, residing in England, and Prince, one sister, Patricia, one adopted sister, Eulalie, sons-in-law, Barnabas and Riyadh, 21 grandchildren, Jennifer, Danny, Miriam, Jean, Jefferson, Barrison, Chrislyn, Barrington, Kenty, Kevin, Kelly, Sabine, Alexander, Wilfred, Vivian, Virginia, Kishma, Nishma, Nakisha, Davidson, and Erickson. 20 great-great-grandchildren, Ed, Darin, Shane, Danny Jr., Mia or Maya, Francesca, Halima, Hafez, Calvin, Gerani, Wayne, Gabriel, Isadora, Taylor, Kenyatta, Sky, Cedric, Kellen, Madeira, Madison, Cornelson, Ariana, Michael, and Princess. 2 great-great-grandchildren, Liam and Levi. 3 nephews, Fitzroy, Lloyd, and Bert. 5 nieces, Seraphine, Jeanette, Linda, Jennifer, and Lorraine. Many close friends and relatives, including the Dura family, Catherine, Leonard, Clement, Ziggy, Jacqueline, teacher Nanny, Therese, Jimo, Ilorna, and Lorna. The funeral mass for the late Francisca Philomene de Ravarier of Grand Coulibaly, Grand Bay will take place at 2 p.m. on Friday, the 27th of September at the Grand Bay Catholic Church, and will be followed by interment at the Grand Bay Catholic Cemetery. The management and staff of DBS Radio, the nation station, extends deepest condolences to the family of the late Juliet Graham, Matthias Starlin Samuel, Alrive Smith, Devonport Robert Hamilton, and Francisca Philomene de Ravarier.
And now, your community bulletin board.
Let's now bring you the general announcements on this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. DBS informs listeners in Grand Bay and environs that we are currently experiencing intermittent disruptions to the 103.5 FM frequency. We're going to show you that our technicians are working very hard to have the issue rectified in the quickest possible time. Meantime, you can listen to DBS Radio on Flow TV Channel 951 and Digicel TV Channel 50, that's 50. We regret any inconvenience caused and thank you for your patience and understanding.